Title: The Weaving of Winds by Wisdom Chronicles. In the quaint village of Chandipur, nestled in the arms of Bengal, where the rivers sang to the tune of the wind, lived a weaver named Arun. His fingers danced on the loom like the monsoon clouds over the green paddy fields. But Arun was not merely a weaver of threads. He was a weaver of dreams, of stories that transcended the fabric of the sari. Arun's saris were famed far and wide, not just for their intricate patterns, but for the tales they told. Each sari was a canvas where he wove the stories of life, love, and longing. His work was not a profession, it was poetry, a silent song that resonated with the soul of the wearer. One day, as the sun played hide and seek with the clouds, a young woman named Meera stepped into Arun's humble abode. Her eyes reflected the depth of the sky just before twilight, and her presence was like a gentle breeze on a summer evening. Meera was to be wed soon and desired a sari that would be as unique as her own story. Arun listened intently as Meera spoke of her life. She spoke of her childhood, playing by the banks of the river Padma, of her mother singing lullabies under the starlit sky, and of her father, who told stories of distant lands. She spoke of her love, Aniket, whose words were as gentle as the morning dew, and whose laughter was as infectious as the monsoon rain. Moved by her tale, Arun set to work. He chose threads of crimson for love, blue for tranquility, and gold for prosperity. As his shuttle moved back and forth, he wove the story of Meera's life. The river Padma flowed in azure waves across the hem, while golden stars twinkled in the midnight blue Palu, reminiscent of her mother's lullabies. The borders were adorned with motifs of the banyan tree under which Aniket had proposed, its roots deep and strong, a symbol of their enduring love. Days turned into weeks as Arun labored over the sari, pouring his heart and soul into every thread. Meanwhile, Meera's wedding day drew closer, and the village buzzed with excitement. Yet, amidst this joy, there was an undercurrent of sadness that Arun could not explain. He felt as though he was not just weaving a sari, but also entwining a part of his soul with it. The day arrived when Meera came to collect her sari. The cloth lay resplendent on the loom, a tapestry of dreams and memories. Tears welled up in Meera's eyes as she traced the patterns, each a chapter of her life. She looked at Arun with gratitude, but her eyes also held a question, an unspoken wonder about the depth of emotion woven into the fabric. Arun smiled, a bittersweet smile that carried the weight of untold stories. "Every sari I weave carries a piece of my heart," he said softly. "In every thread I weave my joys and sorrows, my hopes and dreams. When you wear this sari, know that it is not just a garment, but a companion that holds the essence of many lives." Meera left with the sari, a treasure that held more than just beauty. It held the essence of humanity, a narrative stitched in time. As the days passed, Arun found himself walking often to the riverbank, watching the sun set over the Padma. His thoughts would drift to Meera, wondering how her life was unfolding. He thought of all the women who wore his saris, each carrying a piece of his story, his legacy. One evening, as the sky donned its crimson hue, Arun saw a figure approaching. It was Meera, radiant in the sari he had woven. She walked up to him, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "Arun, your sari was the talk of my wedding. Everyone said they had never seen anything like it," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. But more than its beauty, it was the soul of the sari that touched everyone. It was as if the sari was alive, telling my story, our story. Arun looked at her, his heart full. "Meera, each thread I weave is a prayer, a blessing. Your happiness is the greatest reward for my art." As they stood by the river, the setting sun casting a golden glow on the water, Arun realized that his life's work was more than just creating beautiful garments. He was weaving the tapestry of life, connecting souls through the timeless art of storytelling. His saris were not just clothes. They were the weaving of winds, carrying stories from heart to heart, transcending the boundaries of time and space. In that moment, Arun understood the true essence of his art. It was his connection to the world, his way of touching lives, leaving a legacy that would outlive him. He was not just a weaver of saris, he was a weaver of dreams, a custodian of stories, a conduit of human emotions. And as the stars began to twinkle in the twilight sky, Arun returned to his loom, his heart content. With each thread he wove, he whispered a story, an ode to life and its myriad hues. In the symphony of his loom, he found his purpose, his joy, and his connection to the universe. For in the heart of Bengal, under the canopy of stars, the weaver wove not just saris, but the very fabric of life itself.